My name is Brenda Equihua, and I'm Chicana, and I'm the owner and designer of Equihua, an LA-based brand.
Brenda, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Would you please talk to us about the philosophy behind your brand, how it started, and what fabulous clothes you're wearing right now?
Yes, of course. So I've actually been thinking a lot about what kind of clothes we're making and what the brand is about. And this year I had I think a revelation that brought me closer to describing what that is. Because a lot of talks and interviews are about, is it ready to wear? Is it couture? Is it streetwear? And this was a year where I was like, it's actually portal wear. It's like these pieces that you put on and they just have the ability to transform the way that you look and the way that you feel. Like it's more than an aesthetic. It has another sort of frequency attached to it that I think is really special and unique because of the way that we tell the stories and the type of textiles that we use.
And when did you start your brand?
I started my brand in 2016 when I launched my first collection.
And so what are you wearing right now?
I'm wearing a jacket from our Origins collection that we just launched, and it's very exciting because we just had a write-up with the LA Times.
Congrats.
Thank you. And they were very instrumental in helping us to bring the vision to life. The textile is actually from Central Mexico, so the piece in the exhibition is made out of the San Marcos-inspired cobijas, and the San Marcos company doesn't exist anymore because it was originally from Mexico, and then a lot of the Asian companies came in, and the pricing made it so that the San Marcos company closed down because they couldn't compete. And when I first heard that story, which was when I was building the concept, I was devastated, right? Like to know that such an iconic cobija maker had closed down, and it's such an important part of our history. So I ever since then I knew that I wanted to bring the story back to Mexico. So last year I went to Central Mexico looking for factories, looking for makers that were creating like beautiful textiles, and I found this amazing blanket that had an Aztec calendar. And I thought to myself, like, how perfect is this, right? I want to bring the story back to Mexico, and now I'm bringing it back to like before it was even called Mexico, right?
Yes.
So the collection is called Origins because it is really speaking about like that place and time where a lot of these beautiful ancestral and creative ideas were born.
Yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned the Aztec calendar, because when I looked at your jacket, I was like, that is the same fabric as that like emblematic
exactly.
Aztec calendar colcha cobija.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's near Mexico City, right? Like in the state of Mexico,
Yeah,
maybe?
exactly. In those surrounding areas is where I source the textiles. And we have it in 4 different colorways. So the Aztec calendar speaks a lot about the different elements: earth, wind, fire, and water. So each of our sets represents one of the elements. So I'm wearing wind, which is an element that I feel very attached to ever since I was a kid. That's always been my element. Like windy days were my favorite, so that's why I'm wearing it. And yeah, so the photo shoot was really about like trying to capture the story and the elements and everything that the Aztec calendar sort of talked about. And so that's why this became my favorite textile when I was searching for like the right one,
It is interesting that you're looking at 2 very powerful symbols. First, you looked at the Virgin of Guadalupe, if we're thinking of the coat that we own at the museum.
Yes.
And now you're looking at another very emblematic and very recognizable symbol of Mexican identity, which is the Aztec calendar.
Yes.
And then you're also combining them with very emblematic textures. As I said, as soon as I looked at this, I remembered that blanket. And as soon as one sees your coat, if you're in the know, you know that that's a reference to the San Marcos blankets. And I just find fascinating that you tap into this combination of something that is well known by people in terms of textiles, but also in terms of Mexican identity.
Yes. That's something that for me is very intentional. And one thing that I try to do is combine it with items that are familiar to like people that are not Mexican. So the outfit that I'm wearing now is inspired by the Levi's aesthetic, right? So the 501 pant and like the Levi's jacket, because everyone has a memory about these things. Everyone doesn't know this textile, but we all are somewhat familiar with that silhouette. So like for me, that's a way of bringing more people into the story, right? Because when people see something that they are familiar with, they want to explore it, they want to look at it. So that's, for me, an important part of how the story spreads.
Right, like the hoodie in the devotion coat.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, it's a marriage of ideas always, you know?
Well, like your identity that's binational.
Exactly.
Right? Because this Levi's story is an American story, or the
Absolutely.
hoodie. Yeah, and that's very beautiful.
Thank you, yes. I appreciate that you notice these kinds of things.
Some people might wonder if they would be allowed to wear your designs, if because they're so infused with Mexican identity or elements of Mexican identity.
Yeah.
But what would you say to them to make them feel at ease wearing your clothes?
I think that for me, I don't ever want to put a barrier between like my clothes and the world. Like the whole point of what I do is to be able to spread it and for it to travel everywhere, right? But I do think that sometimes being a Latinx or like a Chicano or like an unothered identity, like very often we're put in a box, but that doesn't happen with American culture. Like, you know, no one is saying like, well, can your clothing be worn in Asia, right? So I feel like for me, I'm like, once I make my pieces, I'm not in control. I'm just releasing these pieces into the world, and I just want the story to spread, and however that happens is however that happens. And everybody is not going to wear it the same way. Everybody is not going to wear it for the same reasons. And I think that that's the really beautiful thing about it, is that either way there are conversations happening.
Right, like when I'm a 40-year-old mother of two wearing one of your coats, I'm gonna style it and wear it very differently from like, I don't know, a hip hop musician for a video, right?
Exactly.
It's not gonna be the same vibe.
No, not at all. Yeah. They're very versatile like that.
They are.
Yeah.
So for the exhibition, we selected your coat, the devotion coat, as one of the two emblematic garments that welcome the visitors. And you are side by side with the Colombian designer Kika Vargas. And we thought that you both encapsulated the young, new vision of what Latin American fashion might encompass, right? It can go from evening wear, very structured, very feminine garment, to an unisex, very chic and interesting and infused with identity coat that really represents this blended identity of all of us Latinxes. And so would you mind elaborating on the devotion coat, the religious symbolism that it includes, the material that is so inviting to touch, you know, all of these, and how it feels to be the two garments that are welcoming visitors to this exhibition about Latin American and Latinx fashion designed today?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't believe when I went to the exhibition and I saw that we were the first piece in the front. It was like really incredible. Such a crazy moment for me, because I was just expecting it would be like a part of, you know, everything else, but like to kind of come in and to see it right in the front was like, wow, what a like incredible moment, you know, like as a designer. So I feel really honored for that to have happened. And it's really, I think it speaks of like what the coat is, right? It's like, it tells a story without me being in the room, right? Without giving much of an explanation. And it does make an impact because of the cut, because of the material. The material that it's made of is San Marcos inspired blanket. The San Marcos story, as you know, is, started in Mexico producing blankets. And then, these blankets became very popular amongst Mexican culture. They had a lot of beautiful iconography that I think best represents like what Mexican folks were drawn to, like horses and La Virgen de Guadalupe and roses and tigres and, tigers. So I wanted to choose an image that was iconic, which is La Virgen de Guadalupe. Everyone knows La Virgen de Guadalupe. Even if you are not Mexican, you know who La Virgen is, So I wanted to work with an icon that I felt could really like bring people into the story, that meant something to a lot of folks as well, and put it in a fashion piece. And so we cut this amazing like coat silhouette with a hoodie out of this Virgen textile. And it was really important to me like what the layouts look like. And I'm actually very product driven. So for me, it's not just about how the garment looks visually, like on a photo, but how it feels. So like the interior is lined in like a beautiful like soft plush, and we have like these beautiful hardware zippers on it, and like the rib knit is made in LA. So the actual like user experience part of it is very important to me, because it's what makes it a serious garment. Like it makes you take it serious, And then there's the other parts of it, right? That's just like it feels familiar, reminds you of your grandma. Like there's so many other things that come into it, but the parts that I can bring into it, which is how we cut the garment, how the elements that we incorporate into it, those parts that I am actually in control of, I definitely try my best to say something with the skills and the stories. So that piece is definitely one of our key pieces. It's been worn by Bad Bunny, and like on the cover of Latina. Now it's at this exhibition. So really it also speaks to the power of like what the image of the Virgen is all about,
So emblematic of Mexican identity and Latin American identity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Because there's people who are not Mexican who like believe in La Virgen, and that's really beautiful.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know, but in the 19th century, she was like labeled as the mother of all of Latin Americans.
Yeah.
And so,
that's so beautiful.
Even though she is mostly a Mexican icon, that's why many people in Latin America also, she's the Virgen Morena.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that's what she's known as too, because it's like it speaks to her color. I wish our cobijas were darker, but what's really interesting is that they are produced in Asia. So sometimes I look at the images and I think like, oh, I wonder if this was produced in Mexico, if she'd look different. Like these are just the conversations that I have with myself, right? Because the one that we're using, if you look at her, she kind of looks a little Asian, And I'm like, wow, that's really incredible, right? Like and sometimes I think about, this is so cool that just try to picture a place in Asia where they're making Virgen blankets, right? Like, what do they think about that?
Yeah, If it means anything to them. But part of the history of the symbol is that when she became a unifying symbol for when the Spaniards invaded Mexico, and to bring together the indigenous population by saying, look, there's a virgin that looks like you. Right? That doesn't look like Europeans. She looks like indigenous Mexicans.
Well, she was originally Tonantzin, That was, and I always wanted to take that story back too, and that's what
the roses in the front.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to talk about Tonantzin too, because she's the sort of the what do you call it?
The pre-Hispanic.
The pre-Hispanic. Actual Virgen de Guadalupe.
Yeah, the mother.
The mother, yeah. Wow.
So how do you make maximalism and maybe very ancient symbols relevant today in this aesthetic that characterizes your work?
Well, I think that having your ear to the ground is very important. Like connecting with real people, like having conversations. Like I'm very inspired by the world around me, like the way that people dress, the way that people express each other. And really it's just a reflection of the world that I'm already a part of. And I have always like an idea of how I want the textile to be presented. And for me, it always has to be about believing in what you're looking at. You know, so usually I won't do a silhouette that's like a little too crazy or too out there, because I want there to be, I want it to be approachable, right? Because the colors are already so loud. So taking silhouettes that you are familiar with, that you know, and marrying those with this sort of these textiles is a very important part of the process for me. But it's not just about how they're married, it's also how the garments are cut, right? So like my training is like, I'm an artist first, that's how I feel, you know, then a designer. So I'm always looking for creating balance in a garment, and also like how to keep the eye moving, and how symbols are introduced into the garments. Like for example, in this jacket, in the back of it, there are birds, because this is where our wings go, right?
Oh, okay.
So there are a lot of different things that we are trying to say with all of the pieces, and those things are also part of me sort of like trying to tap into people's like subconscious, you know, like you don't know why, but you feel a certain way, right? But it's all kind of a part of this like potion that we're like putting together, you know?
Oh, that's great. So you now had the chance to visit the exhibition.
Yeah.
And meet some of your colleagues in the United States, but also in the Latin American region. So what is your perspective on Latin American fashion after seeing the exhibition, and what do you see ahead for all of us?
I think that this is a beautiful exhibition, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. And there's so many talented people that I also learned of for the first time, and some that I was already familiar with. And I think that this is like, I don't want to say only the beginning, because we've been around forever, and we've been doing magical and amazing creative things. But it's very exciting to see these spaces opening up more, and like give more opportunity to be able to tell our stories in ways that are more nuanced, but also by people that understand the world that we come from. So like you being in this space is why we're able to have these things, you know? So more people being allowed in spaces where they have the ability to like, you know, like open bigger portals, you know?
So what is next for Equihua?
What's next is, gosh, I have so many ideas and so many exciting things that I want to do. Like I've been thinking a lot about maybe applying for the CFDA, and like trying to figure out, you know, how that works, and just escaping obscurity, you know, because I feel like we are like very tapped into our community, and a lot of people know who we are and they support us, but I really want us to be able to take this work and take these stories and have them like travel everywhere. Like I want to be in a store in Japan, or like be able to do something in a totally different place, you know? And I feel like because of our aesthetic and our execution, I feel like those stories will be easy to understand or to connect with. So.
Oh, well, good luck with that. I
Thank
really
you.
hope you can grow globally.
Yeah,
It would be wonderful.
that's the goal. Yeah.